This hearing is now reconvened. By an amended motion dated the 19th of September 2022 and received by the Commission on September 20th, 2022 from the Office of Public Counsel, requested the following orders inter alia. Adjourning the hearing set down to start today and continue to the 6th of October 2022, and granting the Office of Public Counsel an extension of time to participate in the rate hearing. The Office of Public Counsel seeks an order to vary Procedural Order Number 6, made on the 26th day of August 2022, and to reissue Procedural Order Number 6. The Office of Public Counsel requested that the motion be dealt with on an urgent basis because Public Counsel was out of office and unavailable due to circumstances outside the Public Counsel's control. The Office of Public Counsel states that because of Public Counsel's unavailability, its case has not been prepared and it had not been advised on matters relating to the application before the Commission. Notwithstanding the oral submissions, no sworn evidence have been presented to the Commission to show that there were active efforts made to find a suitable replacement for the Public Counsel acting, given the notice was given on the proposed hearing dates at the procedural conference held on August 22, 2022. The Office of Public Counsel sets out several grounds in support of its motion, which the Commission has read and considered. These include, among others, that the documentation in the matter exceeds 3,500 pages, and Public Counsel will be prevented from performing her duty if the Commission were not to allow Public Counsel sufficient time to review and analyze the documentation. Both the Office of Public Counsel and the Barbados Association of Retired Persons state that they will be prejudiced and suffer irreparable harm if the hearing is not adjourned. The Office of Public Counsel also state that fixing dates of hearing commencing on the 21st of September 2022 was an unreasonable or improper exercise of discretion, a breach of the principles of natural justice, and a failure to observe procedures set by law, but has led no cognate evidence to support the same. The application is supported by affidavit of Ms. Sharon Dean, Public Counsel Acting. Ms. Dean deposed that the former Public Counsel Acting, Ms. Alison Burke, has been on sick leave since the 22nd of July 2022, and no one had assumed her duties until the date of the Office of Public Counsel's motion. Ms. Dean that had stated she was appointed to act as Public Counsel from the 19th of September 2022, and that she required time to familiarize herself with the matter. Ms. Dean also deposed that the Commission was informed of Ms. Burke's sick leave until August 15th, and that up to the 22nd of August 2022, she had not returned to work. Because of Mrs. Burke's leave of absence, the Office of Public Counsel was unable to comply with the procedural deadlines. The Office of Public Counsel asks that the hearing be adjourned for 2 months to enable it to properly formulate and submit interrogatories and arguments for the hearing. It should be noted that the Ministry of Energy Business Development Division submitted a motion for an adjournment. However, on September 19, 2022, the Commission received an email notification from the Permanent Secretary, Francia Jordan, advising that the Ministry of Energy Business Development withdraws its motion for an adjournment. On the 16th of September 2022, the Barbados Association of Retired Persons also filed a motion for the adjournment of this hearing and requested an extension of time to participate in the hearing. The Barbados Association of Retired Persons is represented by Public Counsel in this proceedings. The orders sought by the Barbados Association of Retired Persons are similar to those sought by the Office of Public Counsels. The reasons given by the Barbados Association of Retired Persons for the orders it seeks are similar to those set out in the motion filed by the Office of Public Counsel. The motion by the Barbados Association of Retired Persons is supported by an affidavit sworn by Marlene Rice Bowen. At the hearing this morning, Ms. Dean, Public Counsel acting, emphasized the statutory role of the Public Counsel. Section 8 of the Utility Regulations Act, Cap 282 of the Laws of Barbados, provides for the appointment of Public Counsel and the qualification of Public Counsel. Section 9 of the Utility Regulation Act sets out the functions of the Office of Public Counsel. Ms. Dean emphasized that she was only recently appointed with 1 day to review the documentation in the matter, which is voluminous. Ms. Dean stated an adjournment was necessary to enable her to represent consumers. Ms. Dean observed that the Office of Public Counsel represents about 200,000 people, and it would send the wrong message were the hearing not adjourned. Ms. Dean noted that the Office of Public Counsel is not staffed by several attorneys. The motions of the Office of Public Counsel and the Barbados Association of Retired Persons were supported by the interveners, with the exception of Brea. Mr. Worm of Brea observed that while the role of Public Counsel is important, if Public Counsel does not participate, there were others who can represent the public interest. The motions were opposed by the Barbados Light and Power Company, which indicated through its legal counsel that the chairman at the last hearing indicated the Commission's aim was to give time to allow parties to put their houses in order. The Commission may, in appropriate circumstances, grant an adjournment. However, a request for an adjournment is not granted automatically or as a matter of course. On such an application, the Commission must, in exercising its discretion, take into account all relevant matters and must ignore irrelevant factors. The Commission has considered the various grounds and matters relied upon by the Office of Public Counsel and the Barbados Association of Retired Persons. It is mindful of the wide interest that the two bodies represent in the matter, and that refusal of the order they seek will likely affect their participation in the hearing. These matters must be balanced with all other relevant factors. The Barbados Light and Power Company's application for rate review, dated the 30th of September 2021, was filed on the 4th of October 2021. It is almost 1 year since the application was filed. An application for rate review should be heard with reasonable dispatch. The rate review application was initially set down for hearing from the 25th of August 2022 for 12 days. The Ministry of Energy and Business Development, by letter dated the 27th of July 2022, sought additional time to comply with procedural orders and to meet with and instruct consultants. The Commission, on its own motion, convened a hearing at which the dates for the initial hearing were vacated and new dates for hearing given. The initial hearing was adjourned in an effort to be fair to all parties and giving them time to comply with the procedural orders. Therefore, were this hearing to be adjourned, this would be the second occasion on which the hearing of the rate review application would be adjourned. The Commission is of the view that the motions to adjourn are late in all circumstances. The Commission fixed these dates for hearing on the 22nd of August 2022. Given the gravity of the matter, the motions for an adjournment should have been made within reasonable time of the aforesaid order. The motions were made after arrangements have been finalized for this hearing, commencing today, and after the amended motion from the Office of Public Counsel was received by the Commission. In arriving at its decision, the Commission has taken into consideration the motions, the affidavits in support of the motion, and the submissions of the parties. To date, there has been nothing presented to support the statements made by Ms. Dean in relation to its inability to perform the duties of Public Counsel as identified in Section 9 of the Utility Regulations Act. While the Commission is cognizant of the statutory duties of the Public Counsel, The Commission also has its own statutory duties, which is obliged to discharge and liable for any failings thereunder. The Commission has not prevented the Public Council from participating in the proceedings and discharging its duties under Section 9 of the Utility Regulations Act, Cap 282 of the Laws of Barbados. The Commission considers that an adjournment at this stage would cause considerable disruption and inconvenience given the number of witnesses, the number of persons participating in the hearing as interveners, and the length of the hearing. An adjournment at this stage would result in substantial wasted time and costs, which eventually would be borne by the consumers. The Ministry of Energy Business Development, in its letter dated the 27th of July 2022 to the Commission, acknowledged that the Commission had stated that the parties should have persons available who can make representations in the absence of another party. Given the Commission's stated position and the importance of the rate review to the Barbadian consumers, it was incumbent on the Office of Public Counsel to appoint a suitable person with dispatch or even engage outside counsel if necessary. The Commission has not been provided with any evidence that the vacant post of Public Counsel was filled expeditiously. In the submission of the interveners, there was reference made to the concept of fairness and transparency on the part of the Commission. The Commission strenuously disagrees with the aspiration made that the Commission does not employ the concepts of fairness and transparency when adjudicating matters before it. The Commission discharges its statutory duties in accordance with legislative mandate, and its commissioners dispense their statutory duties with integrity, and to suggest otherwise without having presented any evidence to support the aspirations made is irresponsible. The Commission is of the view that it would be just to exercise its discretion to refuse the motion of the Office of Public Counsel and the Barbados Association of Retired Persons for the adjournment of this hearing, and the motions are so dismissed. Before parting, the Commission wishes to observe that the Office of Public Counsel has never applied for, nor has the Office of Public Counsel been granted intervener status in its own right in these proceedings. The Office of Public Counsel assists consumers who have been granted intervener status. The Office of Public Counsel has no status to make a motion on its own unless it had previously been granted intervener status. The Office of Public Counsel's application would have failed on this additional ground. The Office of Public Counsel can only participate as a representative of a person or body that has been granted intervener status in these proceedings. The Commission therefore dismisses these two motions. Now, the hearing will commence tomorrow morning at 9, and I give notice that tomorrow morning we'll be hearing the notice of motion dated September 9th, 2022, and filed by Tricia Watson and David Simpson for the Commission to order the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited to amend its application based on the Fair Trading Commission depreciation decision dated March 25th, 2022. Depending on the outcome of this motion, we will also hear the notice of motion dated August 22nd, 2022, and filed by the applicant to amend the issues list pursuant to the Rule 34.7 and Rule 8 of the Utility Regulation Procedural Rules 2003 as amended. Notice of motion dated September 16, 2022, and filed by the applicant to amend procedural order dated August 26, 2022, to permit the Barbados Light and Power Company expert witnesses to virtually participate and give testimony in the hearing of the application pursuant to Rule 8 of the Utility Regulations Procedural Rules as amended. Application dated September 16, 2022, and filed by the applicant to permit the applicant to give evidence via a witness panel in the hearing of the application pursuant to Rule 21 of the Utilities Regulation Procedural Rules 2003 as amended. Application dated September 16, 2022, and filed by the applicant for an extension of time for filing witness statements in Procedural Direction Number 6, pursuant to Rule 7 of the Utility Regulations Procedural Rules 2003 as amended. A request for confidentiality submitted by the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited for pages 490, 491, 492, 493, and 494 of the application to be held in confidence by the Commission in accordance with Section 11 of the Fair Trading Commission Act, Cap 326B, and Rule 13 of the Utility Regulation Procedural Rules 2003 as amended. Please note that in relation to the request for confidentiality submitted, pursuant to Rule 39.1, the Commission has the discretion to and determined to hold this confidentiality hearing in camera and in the absence of the public, since the Commission is of the view that the circumstances so warrant and matters involving public security may be disclosed. So all parties present should therefore have submitted their respective executed declaration and undertaking documents to the Commission.
Excuse me, I just listened to what you said, but we would like to have the proceedings stayed as we intend to proceed to a higher court.
Okay. Noted.
Mr. Chairman, I also wish to address the issue of the motions that you have outlined to be heard tomorrow.
Just
Sir, we are also requesting the transcript of today's proceedings urgently.
now, there was no application for the stay of the proceedings, so we would therefore be proceeding tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
We will I just made an oral application for the stay of the proceedings. I couldn't have made an application before until you made your decision not to grant the adjournment. So I've made an oral application to have the proceedings stayed because we intend to proceed to a higher court. And this is customary and normal in court proceedings, in superior courts. The Act also allows for oral proceedings, for oral applications. Rule 8, Utilities Regulations Act. Rules. Sorry, rules.
Until an order of the court has been received, the application is refused. So the proceedings would be therefore stand adjourned.
As your chair, please.
Mr. Chair, I wish to make a submission in relation to the motions that you set down for hearing tomorrow. We can do that tomorrow morning, or we can do that today, but I think it would be prudent to deal with that matter today.
We stand adjourned.